Hey y'all, just as a content note before we get started, in this episode we do talk in a little bit of detail about some murders that have happened recently. We don't get too gory about it, but if you know you're sensitive to that kind of thing, just be aware that you might want to skip through parts of this episode. That being said, enjoy.
But there are these things that matter, and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.
Welcome to episode 45 of the Out of Voices podcast.
Yay!
We are your hosts, Keem and Esme.
Woo!
Welcome to 2018, guys. We made it.
It's our first episode!
Oh, yeah. While all our other podcasting buddies and friends have all done their first episodes of the year.
Damn overachievers.
We have been enjoying our break. Well, I have started to enjoy my break. Esme has started back working. I don't go back to school until Monday.
Woo.
So I have been off, not having to deal with bad children, but...
They're not bad children. They're just your family.
Yep.
They're not bad. They just are definitely related to Keem.
Oh my God. My joyous, beautiful little assholes. I love them to death. Scum of the earth. I love my nieces. Anyway, we've had a good break. Except for the explosion of cold weather that has swept the nation and busted everyone's pipes.
Yo, I don't want to think about it anymore. Last week, had to deal with broken pipes at 2 different places in the middle of the night, and it was terrible. I don't want to think about it anymore.
Esme had some PTSD from that.
Yes, I'm traumatized. No, don't joke about PTSD. That's not okay. That's not okay.
Was it not traumatic?
Not like that.
Can you hear that audible silence? Did you hear that look Esme just gave me? It's magical, is what it was. But yeah.
Don't trivialize people's real trauma. I wasn't really traumatized. I was just really annoyed.
I think I'm a little traumatized at your annoyance.
You're still doing it. Stop it.
This is going to be a fun year.
I am humorless. 2018 is the year where I lost my sense of humor.
And 2018 is the year that Keem ups his sense of humor.
Oh, fuck.
To come back.
Shit.
Because I have to.
We're in trouble, guys.
Because
this podcast is going to get real weird.
If the news is any indication of what we're expecting from this year, one of us needs to have some humor. Because if we can't laugh this off, at least something, then it's going to be a dark fucking year.
Yes.
Oh my God. Speaking of the news, this show we're not going to have a quote unquote topic segment this week. We're just going to, it's been a crazy few weeks since.
Yeah, we haven't had a podcast for 3 weeks.
So we're just going to go over some of the news stories we did not get a chance to cover or are happening as we speak.
Oof.
Because, my God, we now live in a shithole country. And that's going to come back later.
Yes, it is.
Where do we start?
I don't know.
I got a bunch.
I know you do.
I got a bunch.
I know you do.
Everything is...
Do you want to get the really dark stuff out of the way first?
Yes. I mean, all of it's pretty dark, though.
Well, no, but we've got a bunch of murder stuff on the list.
We do have a bunch of murder. You want to ease people into the murder?
You do. What do we got on the list? Let's see.
I'm doing the interlude while we search for one. Scatman.
What the hell was that?
Scatman. Not scat like poo. I mean, if it's your thing, it's your thing. But I'm not that type of scat. What we're back to now? Scatman. Sorry.
I don't know. Pick one.
We'll start with the guess it's not any darker. I mean, not any lighter, but we'll start since it's local, and I'm actually in Memphis today. I can't remember what church it was. I'm gonna have to look it up while I'm doing this, but a pastor here at I'm gonna say megachurch. It's just a large, large church.
Not the largest church. The one that we affectionately... It's not the one that we affectionately refer to as Six Flags Over Jesus. It's not that one. It's a different one.
But a megachurch pastor recently revealed his past that involved a sexual assault.
Yes. Of a minor.
Years ago. So
to his congregation. Stood up in front of his congregation and admitted these things. Yes.
Which, of course, they accepted with open arms, without judgment, without, anything.
They not only did they accept it without judgment and still love him and still want him to lead the church, they applauded him for his honesty and bravery.
He got a standing ovation.
For being brave enough.
Mind you, this was 20 years ago, and this was only after the woman after all these years came out and said this happened. So it wasn't like out of the guilt he felt in his own heart, he admitted his weakness and his big mistake to his congregation. No, this is after someone accused him that he did this. This was damage control, whatever it was. But this is what he said. This is Pastor Andy Savage at High Point. Oh, High Point.
Yes.
I've been there before.
Yes.
Didn't realize where it was.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. He said, as a college student and on staff at a church in Texas, I like to point it out, he was a college student on staff at a church in Texas. I regretfully had a sexual incident with a female high school senior in the church. So what happened was, and this is what the young lady, now older lady, I guess, said happened, and he corroborated it. He took her out, said they were going to a church function, which of course wasn't true. Took her out in his truck and forced her to go down on him. Mm-hmm. And then after it was over, said that he went over and got down on his knees and apologized. Yep.
What? Jesus Christ. I mean, it's small comfort that, like, he was a college student and she was a high school senior. Like, at least he wasn't, like, way older than she was.
Right.
Like, that takes away that piece of weirdness. But still, like, hello, welcome to... And I'm sure he's using his youth and quote-unquote youth and inexperience as an excuse in this, right? He was like, I was young. That was what I thought I should do. I didn't know.
Here's the thing. He actually didn't.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he actually didn't. He said he messed up, and he accepted the full responsibility for what he did. He actually tried. From the way it sounds, he tried to do something, but when it was brought to the church he was at, brought to the church leadership, they silenced it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like it was reported, and even she said he went to her afterward, and went to like the church that they were in, and didn't go to the authorities, of course, but went to her church and her family to try at least to take responsibility for what he did. So I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Like, it does legitimately sound like he was trying to take responsibility for the fucked up thing he did, but the church silenced it.
Jesus.
And so that's with the incident itself. But what gets me is the church's High Point Church's reaction to what he said to this revelation. Now, I'm not saying they should have just kicked him out of the church and whatever, but even as a pastor, if your pastor comes to you and admits this, okay?
Yeah.
If that was some random person off the street that came into the church and admitted that would not have been the reaction they got.
Yeah. Yeah, that should not have been the reaction that
right.
he got, right? Like, you don't... Like...
You don't make this admit and people think you're a hero. Yeah. Like you did something brave and you get a standing ovation, you cheer you on, and we're gonna keep pushing you forward. No, you, especially as a Christian, you go, what you did was messed up. What you did was extraordinarily messed up. While we can still, like, as a person, that you admitting you messed up, you're trying to do better, we can support you in that.
Yeah.
And we can offer you the forgiveness the church calls for.
Yeah.
But you don't get to be recognized as a hero.
Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. So when asked afterward, some of the congregation members, they started doing the whole thing of, well, this prophet, like Moses, did this, and blah 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 did this, and they were all these sinners, but they were actually people of God. So blah blah blah.
Nah.
And that's all. It always seems to be the case when any kind of church leader, or at this point politically conservative leader, doesn't even have to be a fucking church leader at this point. Anytime they do anything fucked up, it's always, well, the prophets did fucked up things all the time.
Oh, that's not a thing.
But they were doing God's work, which makes it okay.
It's not a thing. Jesus.
It is the place mainstream Christianity has gotten to. I'm saying mainstream. This is not, of course, not everyone. I know a lot of nice Christian people from many denominations who would be like, no. But mainstream, like, in-your-face American Christianity has gotten to the point where everybody outside, no matter what they do, are sinful, destructive, are going to destroy the world, they're going to bring about the apocalypse, all that stuff, sinners. But if you're in the church, especially if you multi-million-dollar pastor, because God has seen fit to reward you with riches for your loyalty, because that's what God does. Some prosperity gospel bullshit.
I hate the prosperity gospel.
Oh my God.
I hate it.
I
hate it.
That's the thing that fucking destroys me every time.
The prosperity gospel is the most American version of Christianity that exists, that could possibly exist.
Right.
Right? God will reward you for your righteousness by making sure that you have material wealth.
Right. And
how fucking capitalistic is that bullshit?
That is the sign.
Shit.
That is the sign that God favors you. That is the sign you're doing the right thing. If you are rich, then you are favored by God. That's why we have Cheeto sitting in the White House right now.
Oh, Jesus. No, have you heard about his spiritual advisor?
Oh, yeah, she's a fucking psychopath.
She's a crazy person.
Yeah.
Jesus. And 100%, like, complete, like, prosperity gospel. That Trump's success politically and financially is proof that he is favored by God, and disparaging him and fighting against his success is your attempt to place your own human self above the will of God.
And going with this, another news story.
Jesus.
The Trump administration has signed some legislation allowing churches to be considered FEMA headquarters, and thus getting government FEMA funds. So Yeah. And this is in lieu of actually setting up FEMA headquarters, like FEMA places for people. They're going to just give the money to the churches and let the churches be the places. Because that works out, right?
Yep.
It reminds me during the hurricane in Houston with Joel Osteen, that smiling fuck. Yeah, I know you haven't gotten that far in Welcome to Night Vale spoilers. They do this whole thing about the great smiling God. And every time they do that in Night Vale, all I can think about is fucking Joel Osteen. This is what they're talking about. Like, this asshole. And they were the bad guys in that show. So go listen to Night Vale if you haven't already. Do it.
Be prepared for a long project.
Yep, because I'm still catching up myself, and I'm 3 years behind.
Anyway,
but with that being said, Joe, during the hurricane, y'all probably remember us talking about it. Joel Osteen refused to open his doors as a sanctuary to the people without homes who had been who had their homes destroyed by the hurricane and the flooding, and it took a lot of social and media pressure to get him to open the doors to refugees. These are the type of people that the Trump administration are now giving your tax dollars to help people. You really think that's going to fucking happen? No. They're going to take that money, and when the bad things happen, and with global warming, guys, we just had a fucking bomb cyclone, okay? We had an ice hurricane hit last week.
Yep.
These extreme weather things, these disasters are going to keep happening. It's just it's the damage we've done to the planet. So these things are going to keep happening. And as these things keep happening, people are going to need help. And instead of getting help where they're supposed to be getting help from, they're going to go to these churches who obviously don't give a shit. And I'm not talking about these little bitty churches. Because these little bitty churches are not going to get the money. The churches that are probably going to help, these little bitty home, neighborhood churches that care about their congregation because their congregation are the church, they're not going to get this money. It's going to be the megachurches.
Yes.
But the megachurches are not going to open their doors to the refugees. And the little churches that are going to be trying are going to get packed out and they're going to get destroyed. And this is not an anti-Christianity rant. This is anti-that type of Christianity rant.
Yeah.
Jesus. I wouldn't even care as much if some of these funds were going to these little churches. Because they are, most of them are helping their communities. But they are the community.
Yeah.
But, no, this money's going to go to these big fuckers. And they're going to keep getting, they're already millionaires. And some of them approaching billionaires. And they're still going to make money. So, fuck them, all right? I'm sorry. I lost it again.
Yeah, you did. That's okay, though.
But yeah, I think I'm at the end of this story.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one.
Let's do.
You want to go for it?
I only have murders of queer people on my list.
Okay. How about
we can talk about the murders of queer people. In fact, we're going to talk about the murders of queer people so far, since Christmas.
Okay, let's talk about other shitty things, the shitty government things. No, and this is another not local here, but and I'll post this because we got a lot of news stories, but the links aren't with us exactly right now, so we're going a lot from just what we've read.
Yeah.
Which we got from reputable sources, so we're gonna put them up, but specifics right now won't be the best. But I want to
You're not really selling this.
I'm not. We're going to put links in the description, guys, okay? So we're not bullshitting, all right? Well, we're bullshitting, but we're not bullshitting badly.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. So a superintendent, a teacher... Esme, you want to look this up for me while I fuck this up? Okay. Esme's gonna look this up for me while I fuck up this story. They're in some state, in some county, we'll fill that in as time goes by. They were having a meeting for the school board where they were discussing a $38,000 raise to the superintendent's salary. $38,000 raise to the superintendent's salary. In response, a teacher,
Deshia Hargrave.
yes, Deshia Hargrave, which, okay, pause for a second, this is kind of funny. With a name like Deshia, sounds black. All right? I'm pleasantly surprised to say, I'm pleasantly surprised to see Deshia is a white woman.
Yes. In Vermilion Parish, Louisiana.
Oh, it's in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Okay. But so Deshia. God. See, I'm always making a joke about black names and stuff, and then I'm gonna mispronounce it.
Yes.
Deshia spoke up in opposition to this $38,000 raise, saying that the teachers hadn't had a cost of living adjustment.
Not just the teachers, all of the school district employees.
Okay.
Teachers, support staff, paraprofessionals, nobody had a cost of living adjustment in 10 years.
All right. And of course, these teachers also, the teachers and stuff, classrooms are underfunded.
Yep.
The schools are underfunded.
Yep.
Okay. Yet the school board wanted to give the superintendent a $38,000 salary increase. They, of course, with her outrage, they asked her to settle down. She refused. Of course, seeing a very personal slap in the face to herself, her fellow staff members, and her students, until finally she was handcuffed.
She what the article that I'm looking at says from the Los Angeles Times says that she left the room of her own accord, and then while she was in the hallway, the marshal pushed her to the ground and handcuffed her.
All right. See, sorry, I saw it even given that detail, but it was early on, so yeah. So she left it on accord, got out in the hallway, marshal came, threw her to the ground, because she was a dangerous human being for questioning a third tie, and carted her away. All this because she had the nerve, and I got nerve up in quotes. You can't see my air quotes, but they're there. But she had the nerve to stand up for her fellow staff people and the school and the students that she cared about against this egregious, just disgraceful slap in the face to try to of giving one person more money. A ridiculous. By the way, that's an excessive salary raise.
Yes,
that is extremely excessive.
That was a salary raise of nearly a third of his salary.
Right.
FYI. He was making $110,000, and now he'll be making almost $141,000.
This is the type of bullshit
in a school district where teachers are paid less than $45,000 a year.
And see this. You know what this reminds me of? This is last year's news. It reminds me of the tax plan. It reminds me of the great tax plan that is going to wipe out everything.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about.
All right. Well, hey, we got a segue.
Yeah. Although we're gonna have to start moving through these news segments a little faster. We're almost half an hour in, and we've only talked about two things.
Oh yeah. We'll get there. But just another example of these rich politician people, elected officials. That's the word I'm looking for.
That's the one you're looking for.
Oh my God! These elected officials boosting their own salaries and the salaries of people like them while screwing over everybody else. Like, it's gotten so blatant. Even at local levels, it has gotten extraordinarily blatant. And we're seeing how any kind of opposition to this is being legitimately silenced. Like, just ridiculously, violently silenced.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This is Louisiana, all right? And I'm not saying, like, fuck Louisiana, but... Because, I mean, it's kind of a shitty state, but it's the South, so most of the South is shitty states. But this is a countrywide type reaction to stuff. Like, I keep seeing reports over and over again of people standing up for themselves and for people who are being hurt, and they are being silenced violently. Like that nurse in Colorado, wasn't it?
I think so.
A few months back. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Sorry. Done with that news story.
Yeah. Oh,
there you go.
So the speaking of the tax bill, I'm sure that most people have heard now of various businesses around the country now are taking this tax windfall that they've gotten and giving people raises. Yay! You know, like they're supposed to be doing.
And also firing them.
And yeah, exactly. No, that was what I wanted to talk about, right? Which is Walmart. Walmart announced over the weekend, this last week, that across the country they'll be raising the minimum wage in their stores to $11 an hour, which they should, right? Like that's closer to a living wage, which is I'm glad that they did it across all of their stores, but really it was as a response to so many municipalities and states having raised the state or local minimum wages that they just decided to do it across the board. And they're giving bonuses with some of the money to hourly employees who are there, but also Walmart and Sam's Club, which of course is owned by the same people, now are closing dozens of stores across the country.
Including, I want to add this on a very personal level, and I did not tell you this, and because I forgot, the store in Winona, Mississippi, where my dad worked for 26 years, one of the few smaller Walmarts left. They're closing it down. Also, the only one serving that community.
Yeah.
And that Walmart has been there about probably 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So, and the people were trying to fight to save it, but that's not going to happen. Anyway.
Yeah, the stores that are being closed are not all in cities that have other options, right? Like many of the stores that are being closed, particularly the Walmart stores that are being closed, are in small rural communities where there's not a ton of people, but for whom this is largely the only place. Oh shit! Speaking of stores that are closing, there's Kroger announced this last week that 2 weeks ago that they'll be closing in February, closing the Kroger store on Lamar Avenue here in Memphis, which is the only grocery store in that community as of right now, which will leave a large section of South Memphis and Orange Mound without a grocery store at all.
Like let's just be real. Let's just be real for a second. So yeah, Walmart's raising this stuff and whatever. They're also with raising it, and as we're illustrating, they are cutting out stores in communities that don't have any other options, and that probably weren't bringing them as much money as the larger communities because they just weren't large, and the people were poor. So you're going to take away all these poor people's ability to get stuff. Because Walmart is cheap too. There's a reason it exists. It exists because you can get everything there and it's cheap. Secondly, in a lot of these communities where they're closing these stores, Walmarts are a major source of employment. Like Walmart, and Walmart employs the unemployable. the elderly, the mentally handicapped, like young people who like don't have the same like amount of like schooling and stuff or whatever, people who are struggling. These are the type of people Walmart employs.
Yep.
The people that need the most help. And in the communities that need the most help, they're shutting down stores, access the thing, getting rid of jobs, but framing it in a way that makes them look benevolent. Like, you're going to give this $11 an hour raise to your people across the board. Which, okay, that's something. It's not enough. It's still not enough.
Yeah.
But it's something. It's better than $7.25. Mississippi, fuck you. $7.25 an hour is not a living wage, so you can go fuck yourself. Sorry. Side note.
I know. Just say that to the whole country.
Right.
Like, Mississippi's not the only one who's still living on $7.25.
Yeah, but see, a good deal of the other states are at least trying to raise them. Mississippi said no. Mississippi said no. They're not.
So did Montana.
But Montana's not really a state. This Esme is burning a hole through my head right now with her eyes. It's scary. A little sexy, though. Just a little bit.
Shut up.
Kind of turned on.
You're always kind of turned on when I'm around.
I'm just always kind of turned on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Walmart, they're reframing this as like a victory for, this is what this tax plan is all about. Giving back to the little person. No, they're still managing to fuck the little person. Oh my God. And the even crazier thing is Walmart doesn't have to. Walmart has all the money in the world. Like, to be honest, Walmart has all the money. Walmart's not going to operate at a loss.
This information is a few years out of date. But as of a few years ago, the Walton Company was the 5th largest economy in the world.
Oh yeah.
They had more money than all but 4 governments, like countries. Just them.
Right.
They are not hurting. They are not hurting for money. They are doing just fine, but they're still operating in a way they're not citizens of the communities that they are in. Right? They're not doing what's best for the community. They're doing what's best for their pockets.
Right.
Even though they could afford to keep these stores open, they are not. They could afford it. They are not going to hurt. Like, maybe they'll get a little bit less money. Oh no, right? But they aren't demonstrating that they have any sense of responsibility for sustaining the communities that they're in. And then if they're not making a huge profit, they're going to leave. And
then they're patting themselves on the back for it.
Yeah,
that's what's the best. They're patting themselves back. We did it. We're helping. This is why I don't fuck with capitalism. I can't fuck with that. That is the most non-human, just disgusting thing in the world. Just ugh. Anyway, move on from that story. Let's keep it rolling, guys. Rolling. I'm gonna do a story and segue into that one.
Okay.
So kind of segue. It won't be much, but it's on the same lines. So, any of you guys fans of Genuine? Anybody like to ride the pony? Because that's the only Genuine song most people know.
That's true.
Pony.
That's true. I only really know Genuine from Parks and Recreation.
Wow. That is the whitest thing I think you've ever said to me.
Really?
Yeah, actually.
Really?
I only know Genuine from Parks and Rec. That is probably the whitest thing you've ever said to me. And Esme said some really white things.
Because I'm really white. I don't know if you know.
It's true.
My taste in music notwithstanding.
Black people may know Genuine from Pony, and
a lot of white people know Genuine from a lot of things.
In Those Jeans, and some of our listeners may have even been conceived to Genuine. Also, shout out to TGT. I mean, minus Tyrese. Fuck that guy. But Genuine is also part of TGT. Tyrese, Genuine, and Tank. For our black listeners, both of you.
Low key, yeah.
Yep. But so Genuine has been in the center of some controversy, we'll say. So I'm gonna tell you how it was reported at first. It was reported that Genuine was being dragged on Twitter and social media and stuff for refusing to for denying a trans woman.
Yeah.
And it was rejecting.
Right.
Yeah. And it was painted as, him being a bigot and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
Because, that's the narrative we always get. But as the story evolved, it was reported that this young lady approached him for a date, was it?
I think so.
Yeah.
She asked him out.
He asked him out, and as people do, especially a celebrity, if some random person asked him out, what would you say? In most cases,
Well, I would say no.
yeah, and whatever preferences he has, preferences he had for whatever person he chooses to have sex with or go out with, and sex is not even have to be part of it. I feel like I reached around for that. I don't mean to.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. Phrasing. Considering the subject matter.
Shush.
But Genuine refused.
I thought you did that on purpose. I'm sorry.
Genuine said, no, I do not. I wouldn't like to go on a date with you. Whatever. This woman then proceeded to try to kiss him.
Yeah.
Which he pushed her away.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that. Okay? But the response, the story that came out of it was Genuine refuses, bigot Genuine refuses, rejects trans woman, refuses to kiss trans woman.
Yeah.
And he, got he's a whatever and blah, 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 blah. But guys, consent. You can't do that. Like, you can't just try to force kiss someone. That's, first of all, that, like I said, consent. But second of all, that's what people who aren't sane do. You can't force yourself on anyone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. No. Okay. So yeah, right. Like she tried to do something shitty, right? Like, you can't just go kiss people. That's a consent violation. That's a huge problem, right? I take issue with him feeling the need to say, instead of just saying, no, I don't want to go on a date with you, which would be entirely within his right. Like, I wouldn't want to go on a date with this random person either, right? But he felt the need to say, no, I don't want to go on I don't date trans people, which, I mean, okay, like, it's your prerogative, but also, going back all the way, do you remember the very first sex segment?
Yeah.
Right? Also, look at you have a right to have your opinions, but also look at your opinions, because something like that is probably coming from someplace shitty.
Yeah.
Right?
See, and I've had a problem. We've had discussions about this, because
nobody's saying that you have to date like, you are, and you have your own, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Prerogative.
Yeah.
Preference.
Yeah, right? Like, That's not the one I'm looking for, but that's okay. Right. Like it is entirely, you are the only one who can decide who you want to date and who you want to sleep with. Nobody else gets to coerce you into doing for any reason, right? Like if you don't want to date trans people, then don't date trans people, and don't, like, nobody else gets to guilt you into being okay with dating trans people, right? Like, okay, fine. I'll buy that. But also really think about why it is that you don't want to date trans people, because that belief probably has some kind of, not probably, that belief or that opinion, that preference definitely has some kind of prejudice behind it, right? To categorically exclude one type of person from your dating pool, that has some kind of prejudice behind it.
But see, my only problem with that conversation is it also implies that prejudice is wrong. And I don't think excluding anyone from, like, saying I don't want to date a specific person for a specific reason, or a specific kind of person for a specific reason, is wrong. Not in every case.
I mean, but...
Because
No, like, look at it, though, right?
I mean,
like, I don't want to date trans people. Why? Why don't you want to date trans
I understand. In fact, I'm not saying I don't understand what you're saying. Like, I definitely get what you're saying, and there's reasons behind it. There's prejudice behind it. However, I don't think it's okay to have someone, like, to go, I'm a bad person because I don't want to date this type of person. Because prejudice does imply, it has a negative connotation. And I don't think people should feel bad for not wanting to date certain kind of people. You should be able to like who you like.
No, but also you need to look at why you don't like those people. Like, if you don't want to date, if you're if you're a straight man who doesn't want to date trans women.
But what? Okay.
Why the fuck don't you want to date? Like, think about it.
But what if? Okay.
Figure out where that comes from.
But what
is it a belief that trans women aren't really women?
I mean,
maybe it is. Is it a thing where you have genital preferences? Like, you just don't want to date somebody that has a penis? I mean, that might be it, right? But think about where that belief comes from and why you have it.
Yeah, but see, I don't like the connotation. I don't like the connotation of it's a prejudice. Like,
what is it then?
I don't know the word for it, but it's I don't think people should feel bad for not wanting to have sex with certain people, like, or being attracted to certain things. See, like, it's because to me it's on the same level of, see, I'm trying to think of something I don't particularly like in a person, like fucked up teeth. You know me,
yeah.
Like, I can't stand if somebody has like really messed up teeth. Like, they could be the most attractive person in the world. Like, I don't think Scarlett Johansson is attractive because her bottom teeth are messed up.
Okay, but where did you get that?
I get it.
Where does it come from?
No, I get that we should look. I mean, I look at where it comes from, but I don't think that's bad.
I think where we're having this breakdown is because you cannot separate an opinion from a prejudice. Everybody's opinions are based on some kind of, like, if you are excluding somebody based on something, right? Like, that's a prejudice. Right. Or a bias, right? Like,
I think that's okay. That's the word I would rather use.
Okay.
Not prejudice.
Okay.
Bias. You can have biases. Prejudice has such a negative connotation on it that I just don't think people should they should know why. Like, I have no problem with you knowing why and examining why, but you shouldn't examine.
It's your responsibility as a citizen to examine why.
Bad for what you're attracted to.
I think, okay, I think the breakdown that we had is that I don't see the word prejudice as being something that's as negative as some people think that it is.
Yeah, but the societal connotation is negative.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, we now we got this.
Right.
Cool.
Bias.
Bias.
The word we're looking for is bias.
Gotcha. Anyway. Anyway.
Sorry. I was starting to feel weird because I know there were some things like physical things and even like personality things that I cannot deal with in a person. Like if someone is just like harebrained, is like all shit, and I can't have a good conversation with you, then I can't do it. Like I can't do it, and I don't want to feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Like I can't date you because you're a moron, and that comes up a lot. Or an asshole.
Yeah, I don't date. I categorically exclude assholes. No, that's not true because I have some. I date some people who are pretty much assholes.
I'm an asshole.
I categorically exclude bigots from my dating pool. If you're going to talk to me and you're going to be super racist or fucking homophobic or transphobic, I'm not going to date you. And I'm going to tell you that that's why I'm not dating you. And I don't care. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like that's a reasonable one. Like, I'm going to categorically exclude you because you are a dickhead. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. On to your story.
On to my story. Ugh.
We're stay in the community.
Yeah, let's keep it in this community. My news stories are actually very sad and depressing. First off, I do just want to point out that there have so far in 2018, we are now 12 days into 2018, and already have reported 2 murders of trans women of color. This is not a great trend, guys. It's too soon. It's too soon for this. This shit needs to stop.
It's just they're just keeping the trend going at this point. It's because as far as America's as far as a lot of people's are concerned, trans people's lives do not matter, and they are hunting them. So it's not even that, right? Necessarily, like that's part of it, but also like I mean, trans people are at a higher risk for violence in all aspects of their lives, right. Not just by like radical bigots hunting them down. No, I said Americans. No, yeah. Like this wasn't just like alt-right people. I'm talking about American society. People, trans lives don't matter. Do not quote that from me. Okay, I'm not saying that. I don't want any sound bites going out that says Out of Voices podcast host said trans lives don't matter. I was telling you what society is being a dick about. All right. Solving that problem before it comes up later.
Yes, thank you.
Don't be snippeting me. I'm watching you.
But yes, two already. And this is speaking to what I was doing. Right. The first trans woman murdered in 2018, Krista Lee Steele. Nutzlin. I'm sorry, guys. I butchered that. That was bad. Murdered January 4th by her husband. Trans people are at the highest risk for domestic violence, right? And don't have access to the resources. As far as shelters, as far as like helplines, financial resources. It's bad.
I mean, also, honestly, just to be real, some of the major resources out there that people use for situations like this, don't want to help trans women.
Right. No, like domestic violence shelters, it is even in the most progressive cities in the country, almost no domestic violence shelters take trans women. Like, will allow them to come and stay. Right? These are major issues. But yeah. So that's one of my news stories. Is two already. We've been in this year for less than 2 weeks, and we've had two trans women. What?
It's 3.
Is it 3 now?
It's 3. It was 3 yesterday.
Yeah, shit.
It's 3.
3. Less than 2 weeks. 3 in less than 2 weeks.
I remember it being 3 because I had this conversation with my sister last night, and I was telling her the exact same thing. It hasn't been even 2 weeks. It hasn't even been 2 weeks yet, and it's been 3.
Yes. And the other extremely depressing and infuriating news story that I wanted to bring up was in the last week of 2017, after Christmas, in between Christmas and New Year's, across the country, in 3 different places in the country, there were 4 black lesbians murdered. Which, they're all over the country, they're not connected in any way, but to have so many grouped together, and not only this, so it was four women murdered, and four women murdered, and in 2 of those, it was in 3 separate instances, and in 2 of those cases, not only was the woman murdered, but also their children. There was one in New York where it was a family, two women and 2 kids. Someone, as far as I have been able to find, they don't know who yet. They have not arrested a suspect in that case. Broke into their home, tied all 4 of them up, and killed them.
And see, that is worrisome because that's not.
Yeah, like the police in that case have said that it doesn't appear that it was random. It was definitely somebody who was targeting that family.
That was targeted, and from what I've studied on behavior of people like that before, if they've done that and they targeted them like that, then they've also gotten there is someone else that they're targeting afterward. Like, that's how that mind works.
Yeah.
So, it's horrifying.
Yeah, the next instance was a woman who was shot several times and then locked in the trunk of a car, and the car was set on fire. And they have not arrested anybody. Yeah, they have not arrested anybody in that case either. And then the last one that week was in West Palm Beach, Florida, where a woman and her 11-year-old daughter were shot. And they have arrested in that case. They have arrested a culprit, and it was the son of this woman's girlfriend. So this young man, he's in his 20s, went and killed his mom's girlfriend and her daughter. And This raises a whole concern about the lack of reporting on like marginalized people's murders, right? Like, if these had been white women, it's way more likely that the mainstream media would have picked this up, right? But these were black queer women, and so there has been very little reporting on a national scale about these, unless you follow queer media sources, which I do. Autostraddle has been, and with the murders of trans people too. Autostraddle is on it. They follow that shit. They've got people all over the country, and they are putting that out there. They're a good source for that. But it's.
I wanted to point out something in all of these cases, besides the similarity, like the community of people that this is affecting. All of these instances, they're not is gonna sound weird. They're not simple murders. All these instances are overkill. They're overkill. They're over the top, like grisly.
Yeah.
Like none of these are just like, oh, it's like this happened. These are things that someone has taken their they're taking their time. They're doing things that go above and beyond simple killing.
Yeah.
So, I mean that says something right there. The attitude towards this, like these people, isn't one of human restraint. Mm-hmm. It's straight up animalistic murder. Like there's no humanity. There's no humanity in these killings. There's no whatever. This is just fucking sick. So yeah. And actually, this is not a, speaking of violence, if we're done with this story.
Yeah, I'm done with that story.
Speaking of violence, this actually happened this morning in Starkville, Mississippi. This is a violence against women thing, unfortunately. The eye doctor at Starkville Walmart, this story is continuing to unfold. Her husband came into the store with an automatic weapon and shot her 5 times. In public, in a pretty and I'm from the area, so I can, like, I've been to that Walmart many, many times. I can tell you there were probably a good number of people there. It's on a Saturday in a college town. He walked in there in broad daylight with an automatic weapon and shot her to death.
Yes.
This is the type of shit we're dealing with. Like, that is not okay. Like, this is the stuff you hear about from the news in third world countries. Like, person walks into market and guns down, whatever. You know, yeah. This is what the news tries to portray as this happens in other countries, but this is our society. Just fucking insane. It reminds me, I was telling Esme about this thing this guy posted on Facebook and about men and women cheating. I'm not even gonna go into it because it's a whole thing.
It's gross, guys. It's gross.
It's gross. Fucking gross.
It's gross.
I'll just say that there are some fucked up people out here. So I'm gonna move on to something that isn't life and death. Yeah. And it has a child involved. Oh wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that because that sounded weird. So this is one you may have heard of, guys. H&M is in hot water because in their recent catalog,
it was the online catalog.
I don't know what stores are still actually sitting out.
I mean, most of them do,
but they had a nice young little black boy in a shirt, little black model,
looking like a badass.
Yeah, no, cute.
First off, looking like a badass,
cute kid. Like, he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and he had a shirt on that said "Coolest Monkey in the Jungle," which ignited the firestorm.
Yes,
that put H&M in a real shithole. So, of course, the claims of racism, purposeful racism, have come down. H&M has been slammed. There's been calls for boycotts against H&M. Multiple celebrities have cut their ties with H&M. Mm-hmm. P. Diddy offered the young boy and his mother $1 million to come advertise for Sean John instead. I think The Weeknd and some other singer cut their ties. Their music was being used for H&M.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of stuff. You know, H&M, like I said, and it's been a whole mess. But I'm gonna come down in a position that people normally wouldn't think I think. And I'm going to say this. Things went overboard with that story. All the claims that H&M did it on purpose, H&M is racist. I don't think H&M is racist. At least not like blatantly. I think H&M didn't put that little boy in that shirt on purpose. Like, what happened was, and even the mother backed this up. The mother little boy backs this up. H&M modeled that little boy in dozens of shirts. Okay? Yeah. They modeled him in dozens of shirts because he's a young model. I think it's like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
They modeled dozens of shirts. And out of the shirts they did, they were like, oh, that shirt looks good. And admittedly, if you go online, Google image search, the kid looks cool. Yeah. Like, the kid he's got a cool post, the kid looks cool as fuck. So H&M went, this kid looks cool as fuck. Let's use this picture. And they put it in the magazine. In the catalog, online catalog. They didn't think about what the shirt said. They went, this picture looks cool as fuck. What that showed, and Esme and I were talking about this before, that doesn't show that H&M is racist. It shows that H&M doesn't have a single black person in the advertising department. Because if there was, pardon my language, because I'm going to use a word, if there was one nigga in that advertising department, they would be like, whoa, read the shirt. That's how it would have went. They would have, read the shirt, we need to change that. What H&M needs is diversity. They need to hire some black folk.
Yeah. Well, and part of...
And pay attention.
They said in their first statement, which was wishy-washy bullshit, right? Their first statement, they said, we didn't catch that one because of cultural differences, because H&M is a Swedish company.
Right.
And so they tried to pass it off like we didn't know. Yeah, we didn't know because we're not American, and so we should get a pass for not catching this thing that is such a hot button issue in America right now. Their second statement, they did better. They're like, yeah, we fucked up. We should have caught that one.
Yeah.
We are trying to be better global citizens, and we dropped the ball on this one. We'll do better next time. Which is fine.
And,
all right.
And I truly, I very truly believe that. I believe they fucked up. Yeah. Like, it's not they. Oh, we're right. They're racist. We're gonna put the little nigga in the monkey suit. Like, no. They fucked up. And also, okay, black folks, time to talk real talk right now. White folks, you can tune out for a second.
Okay.
Also, any other people, you can tune out right now. I'm talking to the black folks right now. Black folks, all right? Every time something happens, think about what's happening first, okay? Use some thought processes. Secondly, calling for a boycott of H&M. Let's just be real. Most of us ain't buying H&M. Most of us are broke as hell. H&M ain't a company for us. You getting mad and saying boycott H&M, you ain't doing shit because we already boycotting H&M because we broke as fuck. I'm being country right now because I'm talking straight, all right? We wasn't buying from H&M in the first place. This was a mistake. We have other shit to worry about. Calm the fuck down. Black Panther's coming out next month, all right? Can we worry about Black Panther coming out next month? We gotta protect that movie, okay? H&M, they ain't doing shit, all right? They fucked up. They gonna hire some. Well, they can't hire any black people. How many black people in Sweden?
Well, if you count refugees, a whole bunch.
Yeah. So hire some refugees. They need to work. Look, H&M, I just solved your issue right there. H&M, I just solved the issue. H&M, you hire some of these refugees that have escaped these countries. They need work. They won't work. And they probably know something about fashion. I don't know where they're from, but they probably have some, like, cultural stuff.
Are you not even paying attention to the world right now?
I am frightened. Do you know how much information that's being thrown at me? People People escaping from all over the place. Refugees are running from everywhere. I don't know exactly where everybody's from.
That's true.
But, lost my train of thought. But yes, hire some of these people. I mean, they're going to know it. Oh, you know what? You're advertising in America. I'm sure there's a nice young black fashion student or advertising student over here in the U.S. who knows the connotations of putting a little black boy in a monkey shirt, you know?
Yeah.
Who's like, hey, I've been wanting to work at H&M. Hire that person. I'm sorry, the little black person that's looking for that job, they need you. This is not the time to boycott. You can go fix this. Don't. Come on, guys. Like, these are issues that we don't have to have a firestorm about. Look, we don't. We do not. There are more things to worry about. And this isn't one of them. Like, this is a simple mistake. And I'm not saying I'm not saying, of course, definitely not saying racism is not serious. And the connotations of this is definitely serious. However, being inflamed about this, which is a mistake that ended up being ridiculous, is a waste of time. And black celebrities, I don't even know black celebrities listen to this, but also, you guys stop. You make it worse. Because black people listen to you and you go, well, H&M is blah, blah, blah. Because you're trying to capitalize on the controversy that's going on right now. Like, you're not trying to do something good. You're not trying to make a comment or something. You're trying to capitalize to make your star a little bit brighter. Because this is what people are excited about right now. Black celebrities, stop that. Stop it. If you're going to help. But don't dick ride the latest thing black people are angry about. And also, black people, we got other shit to worry about. Black Panther comes out next month. You got to get your shit ready. All right? Sorry. Ooh.
Are you okay there?
Yeah.
Let me wipe the sweat off your brow.
That's my thing on the H&M stuff. All right?
Okay.
But you got anything else?
Oh,
yeah. So I guess we'll start ending this.
Yeah.
But we're going to end it with He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yeah.
I swear to God, there's got to be some Horcruxes out there that we need to be taken out to end Trump's administration.
His golden toilet.
His golden... He is the... I'm sorry. I say he is a golden toilet. Jesus. But, so... And speaking of racism, now this is something you need to be worried about. And I'm pretty sure most of you know about the Trump saying that he doesn't want immigrants from quote unquote shithole countries.
Yes.
Including Haiti and Africa. By the way, he referred to Africa as a country.
Yes, I believe that.
The country of Africa.
I believe that.
This motherfucker is the president.
Yes.
Referred to Africa as a country.
Yes.
A continent with many countries.
Yes.
This nigga. You motherfuckers elected him. Alright? I mean, probably not legally. Probably some Russian involvement. Definitely some Russian involvement. But, oh my God. He's a dumbass. Alright? But the with the shithole controversy, the thing that makes me the most angry is the white people, especially, going, oh, he said something that was racist, maybe? Is he a racist? We didn't know. Oh my God. He thinks Africa and Haiti, where brown people are bad for no reason. He might be a racist. Oh my God. Everything they said about him is true. Why are we fucking still having this debate? Why are we still having a debate on whether Trump is a racist? Just because this motherfucker done caught out a bunch of coon ass niggas out in front of him to be like, look, I like black people. Look, they're gonna sing and dance for me. Look at Omarosa. Ha 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 cooning around. Just because he does this and just puts this out front and then does everything in his power just to fuck up brown people.
Yeah.
Like, Mexicans are rapists. Black people come from shithole countries. Also, all people on welfare are black.
Yeah.
That also happened. This recently came out from the Black Caucus when it was when they asked about welfare reform. They of course said they told him not all people on welfare are black, and basically his reply was, since when?
Yeah.
Reminder that most of the people on welfare are not black. We are a percentage.
In fact, most of the people on welfare are white.
Now, I will say we are overrepresented population-wise.
Yes.
But most of the people on welfare are white, not black. But according to the president, black people are on welfare. So, rapists, shithole countries, welfare. This is his opinions on people that are brown. Now, the good countries, he wants immigrants from the good countries. Like,
Norway. Because the Norwegians are just running to come to the U.S. right now. Norway doesn't want to be here. Norway has some of the highest wealth in all of Europe as a country.
Did you hear he sent them a fleet of B-52s? A fleet. He said he sent them a fleet of B-52 jets. Does anybody know the problem with that? If you answered, they don't fucking exist because that is not a type of jet, then you are correct. B-52s exist as a somewhat shitty music group.
Yes.
And a brand of jet in Call of Duty. Which makes sense if Donald Trump played Call of Duty, because Call of Duty's online players are a bunch of young white racists. So he'd fit right into the community. I don't know how many. Side note: I don't know how many times I've been called nigger while playing Call of Duty. I just stopped playing. I really stopped playing those games because, like, playing that specific series of games because of that. They use that word not even as like a racial slur, just as a fucking noun and verb. There was I'm pretty sure a 16-year-old kid said he got niggered once. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I've ever been niggered in my life.
You probably have.
I probably have. Who knows? But anyway, like, it's just so crazy that we're still having a debate over, is Trump a racist? Question mark? The answer may surprise you. I'm not surprised. Motherfucker's racist. He's very open. I was talking with my sister last night again, and I said, within the next 2 months, Trump is going to get in the speech and he's going to say the N-word.
Yeah, that seems plausible.
Like, that's entirely plausible. He's going to get in the speech and he's going to say the N-word, and it's going to be a whole debate again after that. It's like, is the N-word okay to say?
No. The answer is no.
No, stop.
The answer is no.
Still on the Trump train. Choo choo.
Dude, that. Ick.
That was gross.
Ick.
Ew.
That was even worse. What are you doing?
I'm doing voices today.
You're doing something today. Jesus.
Also on the Trump train.
I'm not okay with you right now.
Former porn star Stormy Daniels. It was recently reported, I think as early as yesterday, latest yesterday, that documents have been released showing that President Trump paid...
Stop saying that. Ugh.
Sorry, President the Donald.
Oh, no, that's worse.
Paid this former porn star for silence after a liaison they had doing a golf event in New Orleans. In, I think it was 2005 or 2006. By the way, this liaison was after he married the First Lady. So, there are documents that exist in the news, in reality, where the great Christian savior of America that's going to bring Jesus back to the world cheated on the fine, classy First Lady of the United States with a porn star in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Guys, you voted for him. I didn't. I mean,
I don't think any of our listeners probably voted for him.
If we have a listener right now that voted for Trump, please contact us. We want you on the show. Mm-hmm. I want you on the show because we got some talking to do.
We want to know how the hell you could stand to listen to this if you...
I'm saying though, like, what is your appeal to this show? Because
why do you want to listen to this right now?
I mean, we are destroying. Like this would be hard to watch. That might be a kink. That might be their kink. It could be like they're in humiliation. It's like we destroyed their political beliefs. It gets me off. It's rock hard when you insult Trump.
No, please don't non-consensually involve us in your kink.
Oh my God.
That's not okay. Even stuff like that should happen consensually.
I don't think I want to know. Like, what if somebody asks us like, hey, can you? I really get off on having people insult Trump, and we love her. That's why we listen to it. Is that okay? I don't want to know that. Because that's gonna give me nightmares.
Now, don't kink shame.
I'm not.
If he wants to get off, if they want to get off on that, that's fine.
But see, I don't want to know. And that's the problem. You have to give consent, and I don't want to know about it.
No, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, if they tell you that, all you have to do is say, no, I don't consent to be part of that.
What if my kink is kink shaming?
Then I don't consent to be involved in that. I don't consent to being involved in that. Don't rope me into your shitty ass problematic kink. Thank you. Don't rope me into that. I don't want to be involved.
Yes. Oh my God.
No, like that's a thing. That plays into a humiliation kink, I bet. Right? Some people get off on humiliating people, and one of the ways that you can do that is to fucking kink shame them. But I don't consent to being part of that.
Consent, guys.
Consent is important.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, Trump is terrible. We got another year of this. Somebody please do something. No. And when I say do something, I'm not advocating somebody assassinate Trump. I'm not when I say do something, okay? I do not advocate the assassination of the president on this podcast. What I'm saying is somebody should do something like, impeachment. Impeachment would be nice.
Impeachment would be real nice.
Impeachment would be nice.
Although then we'd end up with Pence in the White House.
Yeah, but...
And I'm not okay with that one either.
He might outlaw mutants.
Huh?
He might outlaw mutants. He looks like every bad guy in the X-Men.
Yeah. No, do you know what he will do is double down on the fucking anti-LGBT legislation.
True. Or
this is Pence. This is
maybe we have some listeners who are nice hackers that can go hack some information and get out there.
Shh! Don't do anything illegal, guys.
Yeah, don't do anything illegal. Wink, wink.
Stop it. The FBI is already coming for us. You know that.
Well, we can't do shit.
You'd stop throwing gasoline on the fire.
We have any fucking listeners. I know 3 of you out there. What are y'all
aren't gonna snitch on us. We're fine.
Like fuck. Because we have so much sway. Bunch of damn podcast nerds who get mad at shit and talk about sex.
Yeah, that sounds like our audience.
Yeah, like, whoa, that's so dangerous, subversive.
Yeah.
It's like V for Vendetta, but with more chains and whips. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, rope. Chains don't do it for me.
I know some people that chains do it for them.
But that's fine. I'm just not one of those people. Give me some rope any day. It's the smell and the feel, the texture. The texture.
And with this, we're going to move into the sex segment.
Apparently. But first, guys, music today is provided by our old friends, Negro Terror, who are currently raising money to tour. They just got signed. They just got signed. And they're currently raising money to go on tour and to get in the studio and get their album going, their LP. With that being said, we have, before we go into some music from them, we have a heartwarming, heartfelt message from Rico, appealing to you guys to tell you guys where you can go to help them get their shit done so that we can have more of that in our lives. So here's Rico.
Hey everybody, it's Rico from Negro Terror. 2017 was a great year for us, and it was all because of you guys, the fans. So in 2018, we're reaching even higher. Head on over to Kickstarter.com right now and help us fund our upcoming album, Paranoia, and our upcoming out-of-town tour dates. Negro Terror isn't just for the people, we are the people. So we've got gift packages for all donations $5 and over, which include everything from stickers and buttons to signed hard copies of the upcoming Paranoia album. Again, just head on over to Kickstarter.com, look up Support Negro Terror in 2018, hashtag We Need Support. Thank you, and much love to everybody. Peace.
In the cold daylight, hundreds of days and thousands of men, hell another bullet right above your head. Into the days of the days of old. They move from the border and then to our town, and the lowest system is quickly mowed down. Everybody's running the days on the web. Medicine don't care.
Hey y'all, welcome back. Keem is laughing at me because I screwed up the recording just now. Anyway, hey, welcome back to the sex segment, the first sex segment of 2018. Hooray! Yay! Thanks again to Rico for giving us that message and for providing music for this week. We love you.
I don't care for you that much. No, I'm just playing. I like you. Love you. Love you, Rico.
That was weird.
Yeah.
You're weird.
I'm weird.
Anyway, so for our first sex segment, shut up, God. Ugh. So for our first sex segment of 2018, we're taking it all the way back to basics and talking about orgasms.
Organisms.
No, orgasms.
Right.
We're talking about orgasms. So I surprise, surprise. I have thoughts about orgasms and the relative importance that we place on them when it comes to sex, especially when it comes to partnered sex. Surprise! I have feelings about sex. I have feelings about orgasms, guys.
I just did jazz hands.
Yes, that's true. So, Keem, tell me what you think about orgasms.
They're good. For some of us, they don't happen very often. But they're fun.
Right. So, orgasms are great. But we have this really problematic thing that we do. Is in the Western. I don't know what it's like around the world. I don't know what it's like around the world. I just know what I just grew up in America, and so I know what happens in America.
Grew up in America, like America.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Which is that we typically place really, really like high importance on orgasm, right? Like to the point where we expect it. We expect orgasm to happen in sex and in partnered sex in particular, right? Especially like if you look at it, right? It's expected now if we're going all the way back to this heteronormative bullshit, right? Like it is the cultural like idea of what sex is very, very centered on a man's orgasm, right? Like to the point where it's sort of like the rule of how do you know when sex is done? Well, it's when the man comes, right? Like a female orgasm is not part of
that. It's a mystery, like the clitoris.
Yes. Yes.
That's the whole joke, right? Like,
yeah.
Two mysteries of the female body: the orgasm and the clitoris.
Mm-hmm.
Some say you find one, you may find the other.
Yeah. Right, but these are really fucked up. But I have partners who, but like I think that that's really fucked up, right? Like that not only is orgasm the defining characteristic of sex, like that's the goal and the indication when the sex is done, but also like I think that it's hella problematic that like that we place such importance on the orgasm at all, right?
Right.
Like I don't know if you guys have heard, but you can totally have great sex with no orgasms. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, wait, we expecting an answer? Yes, you can have great sex without orgasms. You can have
great sex without orgasms.
I can vouch for it.
Right? And, like, there's a variety of reasons why that might not happen. Like, some people's bodies just do different things. And nobody should... So, first off, like, because of the importance place or, like, the centrality of, like, men's orgasms to sex, like, if a man struggles to orgasm for some reason, like, there's a whole script around that. Like, what's wrong with him that this is happening? Well, nothing. His body's just doing something different than what most people expect.
I like to step in here for a second.
Yes, please do.
Speaking personally, so on both sides, for men on both sides of the equation, you get for men, like as you're saying, like we already have the thing of it like sex is all around the man's orgasm.
Yes.
But the man's orgasm must be at the exact right time. If a man doesn't have an orgasm at all, then there's something wrong with him in society's eyes. But if it's too soon, he's a one-pump chump.
Yes.
And that's just as bad. And especially to other guys. Like, if you want to hear a dude get just demolished and made fun of, let it get out that he orgasmed in like 2 minutes. His friends, quote unquote, and anyone around him is going to demolish him. Like, it is bad. I've seen it. I've been a part of it before. So yeah, and as someone who has the opposite problem of most of the time, I cannot orgasm. It gets like So when it first started happening, like the night I lost my virginity, beside that story existing, of course it didn't happen. Like, and for the longest time after that, it just did not happen, and I felt bad. I felt like there was something wrong with me, that I must not be enjoying it. Maybe something was wrong. Maybe this is some sort of erectile dysfunction. I like legit, and even after like it started happening more often, even after like I got in a relationship and stuff, when it didn't happen, I was feeling so bad, and you won't hear this from guys often, but I started feeling so bad that when it wouldn't happen, that I would fake an orgasm, like just pretend and go, and the person asks, "Are we done?" It's like, "Yeah, I finished."
Yeah, because it's so expected,
right,
that men will come during sex, that if a guy doesn't or can't for whatever reason, that means something is wrong. That means as the partner, that means that you did something wrong.
Like this is no joke, and somebody tried to use it as a joke, but there was a thing, I think it was on like I forgot. I think it might have been on Twitter or whatever. And this guy had a legit question about not being able to orgasm, and it had gotten to the point for him where, because he was having fluid bonded sex, right?
Yeah.
And like with his wife, and it had gotten to the point where he was.
Quick terminology, guys. For those of you who don't know, fluid bonded just means that you don't use barrier protection, right? You're okay with your fluids touching each other,
right? But
not everybody knows all the lingo.
Sorry, but this guy actually would pull out and literally spit on the person's back to like legitimately make it appear like he finished. And I knew a guy that also had the same problems, to the point where he got a simulated device so he could at least squeeze out so some fluid would come out, like not out of himself, but like had a thing where he would at least like feel like ejaculate.
Jesus.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah, that sucks that we place so much emphasis on this thing happening, that if it doesn't happen, guys feel like they have to go to such great lengths to keep their partner from finding out, to protect their partner's, I don't know, ego or whatever. I don't know, right? That sucks. And the same thing happens with like people who have vulvas, right? Like, we want so badly to stoke the ego of the person that we're having sex with, that we'll fake it, right? Rather than first off, and that gets even more complicated, because it's a matter of when you grow up socialized as female in this country, you're shamed so much for wanting to experience sexual pleasure that it becomes, in a lot of cases, it becomes really, really hard to be able to communicate the things that are going to work for you and the things that don't. And in a lot of cases, depending on how you grew up, right, it can even be to the point where you don't know, like you can't communicate it because you legitimately don't know what things are going to work for you and what things aren't, right? Like you don't know how to communicate that to a partner. You don't know how to put that into words, and so you can't, and you don't know, in some cases don't know what does actually feel good to you, right? And I feel like that problem in some communities is going away more and more, but we still have so much problem with religion in this country that, like, this is not going away completely. It still is extremely difficult to be.
I mean, you have, speaking of religion, you have entire, like, sects of Christianity that literally doesn't believe you're supposed to have orgasm during sex. Like, you're not supposed to have, like, pleasure orgasms. Have you not heard of this?
No, what the hell?
Yeah, you're like, because sex is only for procreation.
Yeah.
So, first of all, a woman doesn't need to orgasm at all. She's not supposed to. But
Man, fuck that shit.
in some cases, you ever heard of soaking?
Yes.
Yes. If you don't know what soaking is, it's the practice of, it's the belief that the really only time sex is not sinful is when there's no movement. So a man, a person with a penis, and a person with a vulva, they literally insert and sit there. And they sit there until the penis ejaculates on its own with like a little rhythm. Like you can't actually do like full on penetrate, like full on like in and out. You just gotta move a little because I mean you have to move a little, and until it ejaculates and produces a child, hopefully.
What?
But basically, God is a fucking T-Rex who only sees sin with movement.
What?
It's like fucking Jurassic Park.
What?
Yeah, like that's a thing. Soaking is a thing. And orgasms are sinful.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, and I think that's in Mormonism, primarily in Mormonism. But there are other sects of Christianity where orgasms are inherently sinful because it's not the sex that's sinful, it's the sex for pleasure. Sex is only for procreation, and that's it, like it's in a lot of people's mind. I had a friend, and this is not even with just a partnered orgasm. In regards to masturbation, right out of high school, I had a male friend of mine. He came to me. He goes, "I have a problem. I have a problem. And can you help me? Can you help me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Whatever. What is it?" He goes, "Is it a sin to masturbate? Is it a sin to ejaculate? Because in the Bible it says, so and so spilled his seed upon somebody's back on the ground, and God killed him. And they told us at school, because my school was fucked up, that masturbation was a sin and all this stuff. And I masturbate and I want to ejaculate, but that's supposed to be a sin." And I was like, "Dude, it's natural." Like, literally, like, it's just a natural occurrence. Masturbation is not a sin, despite what people want to say.
Dude, I went to confession once, literally in tears over masturbation.
Oh my God. Like, orgasms are not going to make Jesus cry.
They're not?
No.
Sure?
Because he came again on the third day.
I reject that one.
Boom.
I reject that one.
Boom.
Rejected.
He got nailed too.
Rejected. Rejected.
I am on one.
Rejected. Rejected.
And he will come again.
Yeah.
The second coming of Christ.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You are ridiculous.
But yeah, no, like there are whole places, whole large sects of our country, of our society that believes orgasms are inherently sinful, like that they should not be happening. And there are men. I know men personally who don't believe women can even have orgasms.
I'm here to tell you guys that women can have orgasms.
I'm here to tell you it can happen. Because I've seen it. It's like seeing a unicorn. No, I'm just playing. My God. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so, orgasms, right? Orgasms. But yeah, so sorry.
You heard nothing.
If you picked up that weird sound, I just gave Keem a nasty look because he's playing with the noisy, like, candy wrapper again. Which
I'm a little
can't
fidgety.
handle. Anyway, fidget with a thing that doesn't make any noise.
I have my fidget spinner.
I said with a thing that doesn't
I
make any
don't
noise.
have my fidget spinner,
With a
guys.
thing that doesn't make any noise.
Okay.
But, where was I going?
Orgasms.
Well, yeah. Anyway, orgasms, right? And this was actually this segment was actually kind of inspired by one of my other favorite podcasts that I listen to, the Dildorks. The Dildorks.
Hashtag ad. I'm just playing.
Yes, please. Please follow me. I love you guys. You're great. You're hilarious. I love you.
Follow this show.
Sorry, that was creepy.
Follow
My
this
bad.
show and send some of your listeners this way.
Yeah. Anyway, that was creepy. My bad. But where they were talking about, they did an episode this week. Anyway, where they were talking about 69ing and why they don't like 69ing. And they got off on a whole tangent.
Get off.
Shut up. They got on a whole tangent about like mutuality during sex, right? Where it's so, one of the things that we like think of as ideal, right? Like is that both partners should be able to come during like PIV, because that's assuming that there's a P and a V, right? Obviously, right? And there should be like this mutual experience, and that the holy grail, right? What's the holy grail of PIV?
What?
Is coming at the same time.
Oh yeah. Okay. I have to say.
Yeah, it's the holy grail of PIV is coming at the same time, which
This timing wise is probably not.
timing-wise is very difficult. I have done it.
I know.
I have done it. Did I do it with you?
Once.
Shit, that makes every single one of my partners that I've had in the last 2 years, I've managed to do it once.
We did it once and we celebrated afterward
Yeah.
because we're just like. Because it was during that period where like you were getting there and I was not, like it was during one of my really difficult periods, and it was just like, yes.
That means every one of my regular partners that I've had in the last 2 years, we came at the same time at least once during the last 2 years, which not on purpose, guys.
No.
That is not ever a goal that I have. That is not ever a goal that I have. In fact, it's only actually, I think part of that is that it's only in the last three or so years that I get off during PIV as a fairly regular occurrence, right? Because for a long time before I discovered vibrators, PIV was fine, but the chances of me getting off, like I cannot get off during PIV without some kind of like clit stimulation. I can't. It doesn't work. It's not enough. Although I've been working on it.
Oh.
I've been working on it. I've done it a couple of times. If I get really, really turned on beforehand, and then I hit that A spot, which we've talked about before, all the way up in there, that works.
You gotta prime the pump.
Sometimes, yes, that works sometimes. In fact, one time I got myself off. I read a whole lot of erotica, got myself really, really turned on, but didn't touch anything until I was like, all right, now let's get down to business, and got out a dildo and
defeated the Huns.
Shut up. Oh my God. But managed to, one time, just to see if I could, right? I was playing orgasm games with myself. I was like, let's have some fun with this. One time, managed to get myself off without ever touching my clit. I was very impressed with myself.
It's like, oh.
Yes, exactly. Right, golf clap. But yeah, so it's only since I really discovered my vibrators, particularly my Tango, which I love, that I even that getting off during PIV is a fairly regular occurrence. And now I'm to the point where unless the person that I'm having sex with, which all of my partners have penises, unless the person that I'm having sex with comes before I do, I probably will be able to get there. Or unless I don't have a vibrator with me, then I might not. But, which is nice. It's nice to be able to do that, but it shouldn't be expected, right? So many people with vulvas can't come during that kind of penetration at all, right? And so many of the rest of us can't come with just penetration. I can't, right? I would be very, very surprised if I were able to come from partnered penetration alone. I don't know. It'd be fun to see if I could, but I'm not going to count on it. I'm not going to hold my breath because there's no shame in using a toy, guys. I'm talking to the cis dudes. Cis dudes, if your partner wants to use a vibrator, say yes. Like, that is not an attack on your fragile fucking ass ego, right? To use a vibrator. That it's anatomy.
So,
right?
I'll tell you this personally. Like I said, we've already discussed like my difficulty in orgasming. Like, and it used to be that I would literally go 4 hours. Like, I'll have to, because I'm trying to get something. And usually my partner was trying to, get me there. And so go for hours and just be tiring. And seriously, at one point, it went for so long, I didn't eat, and I literally stopped having sex to go throw up. Like, dehydrated, like, it was bad. All right? So, let me tell you a thing about toys. If you have a similar situation as I did, and you couldn't, like, orgasm, and your partner really wants to, and, like, you don't want to go, like, all day, use a toy. Like,
toys are great.
If you're tired, just like, the spirit is willing, but the body is broke. You cramping up. I cramp up a lot.
That is true.
I keep Gatorade and, like, granola bars nearby. Just to be real. If you cramp up or you just tired and you've been going, toy, like, you can still very much enjoy it.
Or your hands.
Or your hands.
Or your mouth. Or anything, right? All of these things count as sex.
Yeah.
All of these things count as sex. And a lot of them, like, PIV is fun. But also, like, it's sometimes vulvas and butts. I'll assume I don't do butt stuff. Really, I don't receive butt stuff. Like, sometimes you just need something that's a little more dexterous, right? Like, get some fingers in there. Get something that you can aim. Like, penises are great, but they're straight mostly. They don't bend a lot. They don't have that curve that gets the A spot just right.
Curve up.
Needs that curve up. You can't really. It's hard to hit the A spot. It's hard to hit the G
A
spot.
lot of people with penises don't pee up, so
I hope not.
curve up.
Anyway,
Right.
Like, toys can be extremely useful and can make it easier for people to come. And it's not an attack on your ego. It doesn't mean that your penis isn't good enough. That's not what it means. It's not what it means. Sometimes people want something different, and that's fine.
Yeah. And sometimes you need a water break.
Yeah, like, that's the
Like,
thing.
you
It's
need
a
a water
thing.
break.
It's a thing. Take a breath. Whatever. But that gets back to what I was talking about, the thing that they mentioned on the Dildorks, right? Which is that like, there's an expectation of mutuality when it comes to sex and orgasm. And it very, very rarely works that way, right? It is vanishingly rare for most people to be able to experience simultaneous orgasms. For some people, that's not even, like, the most pleasurable thing that you can do. And so it shouldn't but like straight cis people have this in their heads that this is the thing that should happen. Are you okay?
So, I hate to interrupt, but this reminded me. So, in human anatomy in high school, they told us that the one way to guarantee mutual orgasm.
There's no way to guarantee mutual orgasm.
Yeah, there's no way. This is wrong. The only way to guarantee it was because basically told us procreation guaranteed orgasm. So the only way to have a mutual orgasm is for a man to orgasm inside of a woman, and the woman would automatically orgasm just from the man's ejaculate, and that means a baby would be born. What? Yep. This is what they teach you in Christian school.
No, that's wrong.
It's kind of fucked up.
Shit, that is fucked up. But getting back to, like straight cis people have this expectation of mutuality, but very, very much when it comes to queer sex, right? There's much, much more of a focus on like alternating, right? There's not this expectation of mutuality where you're coming at the same time, or even that there's not even an expectation when you start getting into like queer sex, right? Like there's not even an expectation that any activity that you engage in will be like pleasurable for both partners in the same way. Right? Like having fingers in somebody is fun to be sure, right? I love doing it. It's fun to be sure, but it's not pleasurable. It's not directly like stimulating any erogenous zones on the person who's doing it, right? This is not a physically pleasurable activity in the same way that receiving that might be, right? And there's an expectation in when the more queer sex you have, the bigger there's this expectation that you like alternating, right? Like taking turns, to where if everybody's going to orgasm, it's not probably going to be at the same time, right? And that's how it should be, right? Like there shouldn't be an expectation of mutuality, and that like again with the straight cis people, that the woman should be receiving the same amount of pleasure from PIV that the man is, right? And that if she doesn't, you're somehow doing it wrong, right? To the point where if a woman doesn't experience that level of pleasure, if she doesn't come from PIV, it's a question of, well, what's wrong with her? Like, no, that's not a thing, right? That's not a thing. That's not how that works. Instead, she just needs something different in order to get off, and that's fine. And so if he wants to come during PIV, okay, like that's a thing. Like they can make that happen, and then like she can get they can work together to get her off some other way, and that's how sex should be.
Sometimes
right?
you don't even need PIV.
Dude, one of my partners, we've had entire weekends where we have hours and hours of fucking incredible sex and never do PIV. Never. Because we're both so good with our hands. It's so good.
As a fan of oral myself,
so good.
That's one of the one of the ways that's likely for me to orgasm, like more likely than anything else, is oral. Like,
yes,
that's probably going to happen. Like, it might take a minute, but thumbs up.
Yeah. And guys, I am on a mission. I'm on a mission to bring hand stuff back. Like, way too many people think that that's something that you, like, either A, something that you did when you were a teenager and you didn't, like, that was before you started having sex, you just did hand stuff.
I'm bringing hand stuff
right?
back.
Or that you only do it briefly, like, as a way to lead into doing, quote-unquote, sex, by which everybody means PIV, or some kind of phallocentric penetrative act, right? Like, no, right? Hand stuff. Hand stuff.
I think we're gonna have to change our D&D class from Paladin to Rogue. You got that sleight of hand going. Okay. See?
Jesus Christ. No, hand sex, guys. Hand sex. Put your fingers in places, wrap them around things. It's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway, but yeah. So that's my thing with orgasm. What else did I want to say with orgasms?
I don't know.
I feel like there was something else.
Orgasms are nice.
Orgasms are nice. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. Although we're starting to run short on time. Orgasms are great.
This was been a short show.
They are not. I know, right? Orgasms are great. They don't need to be the goal, right? Make it okay. Make it okay to experience pleasure without having an orgasm.
Right, just fucking enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself. Sex can feel good even if you never orgasm. I don't know if you know. I'm gonna save the other thing that I was gonna talk about. I'm gonna save it for another show.
Okay.
We were gonna talk about orgasm control, but we're not gonna do that right now.
Yeah, because that's definitely a whole show.
That's a whole show on its own. Yeah. So, in fact, I guess the point is that, like, you don't have to orgasm for sex to be good. And in fact, a lot of people like not orgasming. A lot of people like other people telling them not to orgasm.
I've heard about this.
It's a whole thing. Anyway, it's fun. We'll go into it in another show.
All right. Looks like that's the end of our show.
Yeah.
Links will be in description for the news stories. So many links. Before we go, I'd like to give a shout out to a few people and things. Actually, before I do a shout out to the few people, things that are coming up. More shows. We got some good guests coming.
Yay!
We don't want to say who, but there are people that have good podcasts that are coming.
Yeah.
That other people listen to. So be aware for that. Secret guests coming. I'm trying to get together some shows for Black History Month because, of course, we got a show out. So be aware for that, guys. I have been slipping recently, but
not just because it's icy outside.
Yeah.
My turn. You've been doing it all episode. Now it's my turn.
I am going to be working on in the near future more social media for the show, so expect to see my ugly mug more often. Try to get more stuff. What are you looking at me like that for?
Because your mug's not ugly.
Thank you.
Your mug is really cute.
But yes, expect to see more from us more often. I'm gonna try. It's really something we need to get on. So information will be coming in the future weeks about that stuff. Yep. We got a lot of big things coming in 2018. I think we got a lot of big things coming in 2018.
I hope we have a lot of big things coming in 2018.
I would, as far as shout outs, I'd like to shout out to Greatest Hits, Music and Books. And it's not only music and books, it's got books, it's got vinyl, it's got comic books, it's got action figures, it's got furniture, it's got some food, it's got like homemade like jams and jellies and all this kind of stuff, and it's got clothes. It's a little bit of everything. It's located in Tupelo, Mississippi. It's a wonderful, wonderful shop. Anyone in the Mississippi area or the Memphis area who listens to the show, go visit Tupelo. Look, Tupelo doesn't have much, but this shop is definitely worth going to Tupelo to see. Incredible store. Last time I was there, a customer came in and said it was the most interesting store she had ever been in. He said clothes, jewelry, just about everything you can think of. Just about is in that store, and it supports local authors. local artists. It's a great shop. So go check it out in Tupelo, Mississippi. #ad. Also, special shout out to Negro Terror for getting signed, and getting all your stuff together for like the album and getting on the road.
Go check out their Kickstarter.
Give them money.
These guys are badass, and they're doing really awesome shit, and they're great guys, and go support them because the world needs more of what they're doing.
And you guys, Negro Terror, I'm talking to you. When you blow up, remember the little people. Remember the show, okay? I mean, if you guys get up and get like what are the musicians win like the Grammys? Yes. I don't know the fucking award shows anymore.
Okay, that one is a big one. I feel like you should know that.
So when Negro Terror, when you guys get up there and win a Grammy, and you make your big speech,
shout us out.
And we're still gonna be playing your music. So we're gonna be plugging your music all the time. So guys, go check out Negro Terror. Go give them money. Go listen to their music. Go listen to their music and give them money.
Yes,
combination.
Do both.
Do both. Spread them around.
Yes.
Check them out.
Yep.
As always, if there are any musicians who would like to have their music shared on the show, we still want to have you on. Like I said, our schedules get hectic, and it can get difficult for us to find musicians. That's why you hear some of the same people over and over again, but we love having them, and we know you love their music. But if there is any artists out there who want to get their music out there, please contact us. Make our lives a little bit easier. Also, like I said, I'm looking for guests in the future, especially in February. Any listeners, especially black listeners who want to come for some stuff for Black History Month, hey, come get at me, because it's only two of us. It's one white person and one black person, and I can take another Negro, man. Guys, welcome to 2018, and we are glad to have you back. I hope it's a wonderful year. We have been Keem and Esme, and we are out.
But there are these things that matter, and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.